Amber, welcome to Beyond Film School, where I help you get started in your film career. And today in this video, we are reviewing 5 great set production assistant books that are definitely gonna make you a better set PA. Before we jump into these awesome books, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all videos I make on the film industry. I will say that there are not very many books out there that talk about what a set PA does or how to be a better set PA, but they are out there and I have them with me today.
Amber, why books? Why are we talking about books?
There are a ton of videos, blogs, websites, articles, podcasts that talk about being a set PA, but with these books, all the information's in one place. One place. Now, all these books, there's no particular ranking, but I will tell you some of the pros and cons, some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like about each book, and I will tell you which one is my favorite and which one I align myself and Beyond Film School with. The first book we're going to talk about, I believe, is the first set production assistant book ever. I did not find one that was older than this. Caleb Clarke, the author of this book, is a Los Angeles raised set production assistant because that's where he learned how to be a set PA, and he's originally from Maine. The first edition was written in 1992.
Damn!
This is the Production Assistant's Pocket Handbook. Now, this literally does fit in my pocket. As you can see, it's very thin. It's only 59 pages. It's super easy to read, very, very quick to get through. And the cool thing about it is that he really gets straight to the point. There's some blank pages in here for notes, which is like, I thought that was really cool because this book is intended for you to have with you on set. One of the things about this book that I can't really align myself with is the fact that it is a West Coast, California-based film production book. So that's kind of a plus side for some, not a plus side for people who are trying to work in New York. The third edition, which is this book, was, I believe, the last edition, and it was written in 2008. So it is still a little bit aged, but all the information reigns true. One thing I don't like about what Caleb says in this book is that he tells you to run. Now, as you can see, it says run if anybody is waiting. Now, I do not align with this because when you run on set, it creates panic. And if there's no need for you to run, it's not an emergency, your pants are not on fire, then you should not be running on set.
One more time.
You should not be running on set. One thing I may not agree with, and it's probably because I'm New York City based and he was LA based, is he says that transpo is on channel 2. Transportation is not on channel 2 in New York City. Transpo is on channel 16. So that is something that might be like, huh? If you read that and then you experience it different on set. It could be a Cali thing, or it could just be wildly out of date. I have no idea, but channel 2 and 3 are left open for longer conversations that need to be held that cannot be held on channel 1. On page 9, it's nice and big. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it says never sit down. I want to edit that a little bit, because I do not believe that PA should never sit down, but I do believe that no one should see PA sit down. Never have someone see you sit down is what it should say. On page 27, he talks about lockdowns. Now, in New York City, we call them lockups. So we say lock it up. That is basically when you're telling people to stay out of the frames, be quiet, ready to roll. What they call them lockdowns, we call them lockups. So that's one big difference that I found in this book as well. One of the things I love that Caleb Clarke wrote in this book is on page 43, and he says, first lesson, if you get a PA job, take it. The object is to get in the system and meet people. You can try to change jobs or get a raise once you're on the crew and after you have at least 1 gig under your belt. That's probably the most valuable thing a new set PA could learn. I just gave it to you for free when I paid $8 for this book. I do love this book. It is super practical and useful. I'd recommend it. You can get it on Amazon for $8, super cheap. There's like notes in the back, there's set terms and stuff. So I definitely would say yes, this is definitely worth the $8 that you're going to spend on this. Super valuable. The second book we're reviewing is the Production Assistant's Handbook. It is by Jeff Alves. This is a pretty good book because I feel like it gives you a little bit more than Caleb Clarke's book because it gives you a little bigger picture of what filmmaking is and what's expected of you and where you fit in the puzzle that is filmmaking. This is great because there's like pictures in there and there's examples of paperwork, which is pretty cool, and some of the stuff you'll never see until you actually get on set and you get your digital start work. It is a bit dated. It was written in 2004, so it is a little bit old, and you can definitely tell by the walkie picture that's in here. Look at this walkie. Look at this walkie. It looks pretty old, and I find this funny. Look at it, and then like they have the Nokia like first like mobile phone. I feel like I had that phone back in the day. I swear to God, maybe not that exact one, but that's just, look at this phone. One thing to also mention is that this book is also based in Los Angeles. So if you are a PA out there, this book will do you some good. And it also kind of really digs deep into what you would be doing on an indie set if you were a set PA, and some of the things that you might be doing on indie sets, whereas you wouldn't be doing those types of things in the union world, which I think is pretty useful right now because the union world and the indie world are very different worlds when it comes to what you would see on set and what you'd be doing on set as a set PA. This book gets into film set terms and also crew positions, which I think was a bit of a improvement when you are going from Caleb Clarke to this book, because it explains what certain positions and what departments, you know, they are and what they do, which is really cool, because sometimes you're on set and you're like, who the hell is doing what? And this book will tell you. Also, what I love about this book is it starts talking about finding a job and getting a job, because if you think about it, you can talk about film sets and all of that, but if you are not actually looking for your job and how to find that job, you're never actually going to be on set. So you can talk about the film lingo and what people are, what things you're going to see, but if you don't actually know how to get the job, then it's kind of null and void. So I like how he did that in this book. All in all, I think it is somewhat outdated because it has pictures of technical things where we're like so advanced by now. It's like 16 years down the line, 17 years down the line, I should say, 17 years down the line. But I will say it is super useful. A lot of the info is going to be the same, and it definitely was worth the $13 I spent on Amazon. My third book is coming from the southern region, you know, Georgia, Atlanta, where they're shooting down there, and it is written by Alvin Williams, and it is largely based on the industry down there. So I was kind of surprised of some of the things that were in this, but I really like the layout of how it was organized. I really like these like titles and stuff. Like, a lot of things were explained, like camera type things, shot terminology. And it's really cool. It has these hierarchy graphs of like who's your boss and where you would fall, which is really great. And it looks a lot like the hierarchy picture that I made for Beyond Film School. So this is called the Production Assistant Passport. This one is a little bit more recent, which is great, 2017. So this is very recent. I love how this is a specific market for people who are trying to be set PAs in Georgia or in the South or a different region other than New York City and LA. So that is a major plus for this book. This book also gets into the different types of set PAs and office PAs. I really love the section of the book that's called Do's and Don'ts, Production Assistant Do's and Don'ts. My favorite, my favorite don't be lazy. I can really get down with that. If you're working on film sets, if you're lazy, the two just don't go together, people. I'm so glad someone put this in a book. Don't be lazy. I love it. Another cool thing about this book is that it has a section on what to wear. I feel like what to wear on set is such a huge thing when it comes to being a set PA and you being new to film, because you really are lost in the sauce and don't know what to expect, but telling people what they should wear is so valuable, and this book has it, which I really cannot begin to even tell you the value of. Of course, it goes into set terminology, it goes into different positions, what people do on set, but the one thing I really love is that it has a resume template example. And this is really funny because this is like literally what my resume looks like. My resume looks exactly like this, and I cannot even, I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I'm doing something right. I can't believe that this is exactly like what I have, except for I think I have my summary of qualifications up at the top, but I mean, I can get down with this. This is great. There were a couple things in this book that I didn't agree with, only based on the fact that we shoot in different areas, and let's be honest, different things are going to happen in different areas of the country. So they say on the walkie, they say over, which we don't say that in New York. We never say over. Like I got done saying a sentence and you go over, and then you're like how you see in the movies sometimes. In New York, we don't use the walkie that way. One thing I found interesting was that their definition of a second AD and their third AD. According to the production assistant passport, the third AD in New York City would be the second, and the second, according to this book, would be the additional ADs on set. So that is a pretty big difference. We don't use the term third AD usually in the States. That's like over in Europe or over in different countries. We usually use seconds and then additional ADs. If you want to know about New York City ADs, I have a playlist about all the assistant directors, but I found it interesting that they use the term third AD in here, and I was like, oh, they actually use that in the States. So, you know, I actually learned something new, and I can't believe it. I actually was like, oh wow, that's great. This book is amazing. It is super useful, and it's only $10. $10. I mean, it's only 115 pages, super stacked with info. I definitely recommend it if you are trying to be a PA in Georgia, in Atlanta, anywhere outside of New York and LA. I think this will be like your go-to, like 100%. I mean, for $10, that's really a steal. My next book is by Jessica Dean Rose, and it is called How to Survive on Set, the Set Production Assistant's Guidebook. Now, this book is the most recently released book about set PAs and what they do and how to be better at it. 2020, it was written in 2020. It's just written like a year ago. This is very, very new, 2020. One of the things I love about this book is that it gets right into walkie etiquette, walkie lingo, and that's really important because a lot of people who are starting out in film are just very afraid of the walkie, and I think that's the first thing that needs to be tackled, and I love how it's the first thing that she has in her book. Now, Jessica, the author of the book, is not a New York City based AD, but she is a DGA AD, and as far as I have seen, I think she resides in Tennessee or something like that, but she is not in the LA region and she's not in the New York region, and I love that it also comes from a different area. So this is giving you perspective of how filming goes in different areas outside of the major markets. And one of the things that I noticed about this as well were the walkie channels, where Transpo would be on channel 3. And as I said before, New York City, Transpo is on channel 16. So I just find that to be interesting that they put Transpo on channel 3. Another thing I really like about this book is that it really goes into specific PA jobs, like first team PAs, background PAs, the walkie PA, the key PA. It covers all those and goes super in depth of what they would be doing. And she really gives you a clear look at what their day would be like. And I love that. The only thing that I think would be a drawback to this book is how it's laid out, because there are really some good nuggets of information in here, but you're gonna miss it because it's not like jumping out at you, or it's not the proper layout and it's not organized in a way to kind of digest the information quickly. So make sure to pay attention when you read this book, because you might miss a really nice nugget of information. The style of this book that Jessica has is more like I'm having a conversation with her. I feel like I'm talking to her in a weird way. It's like she's talking to me like we're having a conversation. So that is something that will make this information go quickly, but when you're looking at it at first glance, you're like, wait a second, this seems like a lot. It's like a paragraph after paragraph, but it's very conversational style, which is not exactly a drawback. One of the things about this book that I really, really love is that this book is for set PAs that want to be ADs. They want to be assistant directors. And it tells you what you have to do, you know, to become an AD. What is the track that you have to follow. And I really love that because when I was first starting out, I had no idea what that track was like. This is a really, really great book. There are a lot of pluses to this book. It's the most recent book that's out there for set PAs, and also it's a book specifically for people who want to be ADs down the line. And this is only $10. This is only $10 on Amazon. Now this, I feel like bang for your buck, like this is where it's at. Good job, Jessica. Just gotta say. My last book is from Joshua A. Friedman, and it was written in 2011, and it is the ultimate production assistant guide, getting it done. Now, and this is New York City based.
Oh my God, my prayers have finally been answered.
This was the most in-depth guide that I have. It is a lot thicker, it's a lot bigger, there's more information, it's 188 pages. It is super, super detailed. It has everything you need. It has websites, it has pictures of trucks, the assistant director things, it has terminologies, it has like examples of production reports. I think what I like the most about this book is some of the other ones have little anecdotes. I think Caleb was the other one that had a few small stories of his experience, like his conversations he's had as a set production assistant, but he has like whole stories of things that have happened to him on set, and I love this. I just fully related to this book because it aligns with everything I have learned as a set PA in New York City. I am obsessed with this book. Even though it's written 10 years ago, it is such a good guide for people who are trying to be set PAs in New York City. It also has tons of pictures, which is really great, and examples of paperwork you would see on set, and a whole section on how to get jobs. Josh even gets into resume formatting, how to get jobs, interviews, the assistant director track as well, and the timeline of a PA and an AD, which this was not in any other book that I have, and I love the fact that he lays it out like year by year. Year one, AD year one, AD year two, AD year 3, 4, and 5. And then it's like AD year 50. Like it really like lays out what exactly you might be doing at that certain like milestone in your AD career. Even like the PA ladder, year one as a PA. Year one is that you get your first job as initial PA, you make a good impression on the key PA and the ADs and get everyone's phone number so you can call them for work. Now is the time to start saving all your call sheets and pay stubs. That is gold, people! Overall, this book was the most organized, the most detailed, the most in-depth, and it had everything you would need to know. If I were to write a book, it would have been this. It would have been this book, basically. He did way better than I probably could have ever done for writing a book, and this book is, I would call this the PA Bible. Okay, you're probably asking, okay, Amber, how much is this great book? Now, this one is the most expensive one. This one is just under $20 on Amazon. I mean, honestly, this is definitely worth it if you are trying to be a set PA in New York. Even though it's 10 years old, I would wholeheartedly recommend this to someone who is trying to be a set PA in New York. It has everything. It is a little bit more money, but like 20 bucks for a book that could help you with your career, sorry, like super valuable, sorry. Like there's no way that you're gonna say it's not worth it. This is totally worth it. Probably super obvious that this was my favorite book, and I think probably because it was the only book that was New York City based. I don't know, but either way, I was very happy to find this book, and I feel like I should just give this book away to someone who leaves me the best comment. I don't know. Tell me which book you want and why, and I'll send it to you, because what am I gonna do with these books? Just keep it on my bookshelf. I read all of them already, and I'm already an AD, and I've already have a set PA career, so like, let's give it away. Let's give this book away. I'll give it to you. I'll mail this to you. I bought and paid for all those books myself, and I wanted to review them for you because I feel like these are just gems that you need in case you're not really sure where to start, and I think these books are a really great starting point. And I will leave the links to all these books below for you. These are all Amazon links. It is my Amazon affiliate link, which means there's no extra cost to you, that I just get a certain percentage of whatever you buy, so it's not an extra cost to you. But I am not affiliated with any of these books. Just so you know, I was not paid for any of these reviews, and I definitely recommend all of them. They're really, really good books. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please comment below. Feel free to email me or even hit up my website to contact me at beyondfilmschool.com. And that is it for now, and I shall see you next time.